What is going on, guys? Rewinds here, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing Boruto episode 234. So this is going to be the second episode of the anime canon arc that just started up, which seems to be revolving around the Hidden Mist Village. And this arc will be featuring Kagura, of course, as well as the Mizukage, obviously Team 7, and we also got Team 5 because they were on a mission around the Hidden Mist Village during the time that this arc takes place. So they're involved too, so it seems like we got a decent bit of characters here. Last episode left off with the airship being blown up that was supposed to be taken to the site to see the Shino Gnome, I believe that's the name. And there was supposed to be 5 airships that went to the site. The first one took off and started blowing up, so everybody started panicking. There were rumors that there was going to be a terrorist attack happening, so that's exactly what actually ended up happening at the end of last week's episode. And the episode started off with Katasuke being hurt from the crossfire. Pretty much the explosion gave him a little bruise on the head, so he was bleeding a little. Nothing too crazy though. In the meantime, though, while everybody's trying to calm down the panic that was going on from this airship blowing up, the prison that Kagura is now a warden to was broken into. So it seems like the whole airship blowing up thing was actually a diversion for the prison to get broken into. So as they break into the prison, a few guards try attacking them, and as a result, they don't do too well. They get beat pretty bad. And I will say also that this episode overall, I already knew once I saw this first scene of the guards trying to fight that the episode's animation was going to be pretty bad, if not at least bad. And that's exactly what the case was. Unfortunately, this episode did not get any good animation. And, you know, it's to be expected, though, because it got animated by an outsourced studio called Fortune, or Fortunes, I believe. And I did cover in my spoilers video a while ago for episode 234 that this was probably going to be the weakest of the 4-episode batch of 232 to 235. And that's exactly what it was. Normally, you would expect studios like that to animate episodes where it's a lot more plot-centric, so you would just have the story moving. But in this case, you couldn't really move the plot without throwing in some action. So, unfortunately, it didn't get the greatest of animations. Bad animation, unfortunately, but yeah. The plot did help this episode, though, because a lot happened, so I can't really say it was like a terrible episode or anything like that. So what happens next is Kagura comes with Boruto, and they find a few of the guards trapped in a water prison jutsu. As Kagura frees them with the sword, it seems like the invaders, which contains which consist of members of the Funato clan, it seems like they are there to rescue their pirate leader that was captured 5 years ago, named Araumi. So he is rescued here by his son, and as he is escaping, Boruto and Kagura run into them, and they have a little fight. Once again, animation here is bad. On top of that, plot-wise, I know some people were complaining that Boruto didn't use his karma or go out, but you got to remember Boruto is using those pills to subside the effects, and at the moment, he's not really looking to rely on that. You know, he's trying to avoid using karma as much as possible, and he doesn't want to speed up the process or anything like that. And it also just seemed like one of those like mini scuffles where it's just the first fight. Like next time, Boruto will try harder when he sees them. And on top of that, I'm kind of glad they didn't bring in karma into this fight, because if they did, it would have looked pretty bad with the animation. I honestly don't think I've seen a Boruto episode that's disappointed me in animation this bad in a little bit. It's been a while. But again, I'm not really hating on it or anything like that. Like I said, it was expected. It's just unfortunate because when you have a weekly series, episodes like this are bound to happen. I just wish that there was some way around it, but it is what it is. Next week will be a lot better because next week is half by the main studio, Studio Piro, and half by a studio. I forgot their name, Jiwoo. I can't remember. It starts with a J though, but they're pretty solid too. So next week should look a lot better. Moving on, so we have this fight, and like I said, it didn't look good. But what happened is that Funato ended up, not Funato, the Funato clan members ended up winning this fight. It was pretty much a 2-on-1. It was Araumi's son versus Boruto and Kagura, and it seemed like Kagura was doing well, defending with his water style jutsu and fighting with the sword, and Boruto tried using his Rasengan. None of it really worked out to their advantage, and then they got hit by a water style jutsu that was a little bit more of like a raging water type of jutsu, so it just sent them flying back, kind of like if you would be getting pushed by a river or a stream, where you can't fight the current off, kind of like that. So that's how they ended that battle, and then they made their escape. And then what happened is we find out that all of the islands of the Hidden Mist Village at the moment, or like the land of, I believe they call it the land of water, the land of seas. So the whole area, the islands there are being invaded by the Funato clan. So that was something they found out in this episode. And the Mizukage was concerned because they have a base on the Eastern Sea and they couldn't get in contact with them either. So if that had fallen, they knew they were going to be at a disadvantage in this battle. Meanwhile, Boruto now reunites with Team 7. Finds out that Katasuke is okay and that his teammates are okay, and then they try coming up with a plan. Then they realize that Team 5 is also around on nearby missions, and Boruto gets really concerned, even though Sarada tries telling them that, they're pretty capable of taking care of this themselves too. But Boruto's really concerned, especially for Denki, because Denki's not the greatest, physical strength-wise. So Boruto wants to move around, but due to their mission and due to them being in a foreign land, they can't necessarily move around freely like that. So that's where Kagura comes into play. At this moment, contact is lost with other islands, so it's not the easiest to go around freely to make moves and get permission. But Kagura is now the Mizukage's advisor, so he gets permission from the Mizukage to actually move freely. And that shows, growth for Kagura in terms of how much trust he's gotten from the Mizukage now as opposed to the past. Like, you could tell Chojuro did have faith in him before too, but now it seems like it's taken him to another level because now he's an advisor. And if you think about it, that's huge because look at Naruto's advisor. That's Shikamaru. That's someone that's grown and that's his age. And how old is Kagura, like, in comparison? So that's pretty big. And, I mean, it also shows you the state of the Mist Village, I guess, in terms of strength. They're not really up there with the Leaf. So there's that as well. So Kagura did get his permission. Kagura also got his sword back, just in case something were to happen. And this is the sword, of course, that Chojuro uses too. But Kagura has used it in the past, and it seems like he is getting it back. So now along the way, Kagura actually brings some subordinates with him. He tells the Mizukage he had some in mind, and then he meets Boruto and the rest of Team 7 by a pier where they have gotten a boat. And the subordinates that he brings with him turns out to be the new 7 ninja swordsmen that had not helped in the escape of, I believe his name was Shisami. So the ones that he feels like could redeem themselves, he brought them as subordinates, pretty much giving them a chance at redemption. Team 7 isn't really cool with it, but they gotta cooperate because Kagura's captain now, otherwise they're not allowed to move freely, so they have to cooperate. A funny little thing at the end of the episode was that getting Kawaki on a boat was a struggle because he got seasick the first time. So trying to drag him onto the boat now took both Mitsuki and Sarada a lot of effort to do, and they eventually did get him on it. But I found it so funny that Sarada threatened him by saying, "If you don't get on the boat, I'm gonna tell Lord Seven." I thought that was a pretty funny moment, probably the funniest moment in the episode. Uh, but yeah, the episode ended with them on a boat. They're heading to Doto Island, I believe, and that is the island where Team 5 is right now. Next episode, we'll get to see the state of them based off the preview, and we'll see what happens to them from there. But overall, I thought this was an alright episode. I'm factoring everything in. Plot wise, I think it was pretty solid to a good episode, but I do gotta dock a little bit of points because animation wasn't even average. It was way below average to the point where a lot of people think it was bad this episode. And even though we do understand as fans why it was bad, it's still something, that we gotta criticize when we see. So it's not like I'm saying it's a bad episode. Like I said, I think the episode was alright. If the animation was even average and the episode kept the same plot line, I think I would have given it like a 7-ish or a 6.5. But because of the animation, I think I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. So an okay episode. Check it out, especially if you are engaged in the story, because a lot does move forward with the story. I am pretty interested to see how they take down the Funato clan, because it seems like they are very strong in the waters, and it seems like with the islands all around, there is going to be plenty of water involved. So what will they do? Will Boruto end up using his karma? Will Kawaki get something, like some shades of a potential karma coming back in the anime? Or maybe will we get some build-up of Kawaki desiring his karma back or something like that? Are we going to get to see Sarada and Mitsuki shine a lot? Are we going to get to see Team 5 finally get some real shine? Let me know what you think. Also, I think Kagura and these 3 swordsmen are going to do pretty big work too in these next few episodes. A lot of potential here for them to showcase new characters and handle them right. We'll see how they do when the climax of the arc comes, but I do know it'll at least be going on till episode 238. So we're in for a little bit of a ride. But that's going to be it for my review. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Be sure to leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. Hope you guys have a good day or night. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.